What if I told you that Lucy might return? The movie that blew minds back in 2014, where Scarlett Johansson's character unlocked the full potential of the human brain, could finally be getting a sequel. Fans have been asking the same question for nearly a decade. Will we ever see Lucy 2? And the truth is, the story is far more complicated than most people realize. Lucy wasn't just another sci-fi action flick. It became a global phenomenon. A modest budget of around $40 million turned into a box office juggernaut, pulling in nearly $500 million worldwide. It was stylish, ambitious, and most importantly, it asked questions that audiences couldn't stop debating. What happens when the human mind surpasses its own limits? That's why even today, Lucy still trends in fan discussions, fan trailers, and speculative forums. People don't just want more action, they want answers. So where do things stand? Over the years, reports have surfaced claiming a sequel is in development. In 2022, Variety reported that a Lucy TV spin-off series was actively being developed, with Morgan Freeman in talks to reprise his role as Professor Norman. That's a clear sign the studio hasn't abandoned the franchise. But when it comes to Lucy 2, the actual movie sequel, the waters are much murkier. Luc Besson, the original director, has given interviews suggesting that some of the rumors surprised even him. In other words, he wasn't always directly involved in the projects that were being talked about online. That's where the confusion lies. Fans hear whispers of development, but official confirmation never seems to arrive. Why? The answer is likely creative. Lucy ends in a way that leaves almost no room for a conventional sequel. By the final act, Lucy has evolved beyond the physical form and essentially becomes a higher intelligence. How do you bring back a character who has become omnipresent, omnipotent, and beyond human conflict? That storytelling problem has been the biggest obstacle. But let's imagine. Let's speculate. If Lucy 2 were announced tomorrow, what would it look like? One possibility is that Scarlett Johansson returns, but with new limitations. Maybe Lucy's consciousness splinters or her power destabilizes, creating vulnerability and stakes. Another route is a spin-off. Focus on Professor Norman or a new protagonist dealing with the fallout of Lucy's transformation. Maybe governments race to recreate her abilities. Maybe a darker force tries to weaponize what she left behind. These are the kinds of scenarios that screenwriters would likely explore. Of course, the star factor is everything. Scarlett Johansson's name alone guarantees attention. Without her, Lucy 2 might struggle to capture the same global hype. But if she returns, even in a smaller role, audiences will pay attention. And imagine Morgan Freeman's calm, philosophical presence anchoring the story again. That dynamic could carry a sequel or spin-off in a new direction. Beyond casting, tone is critical. The first movie was stylish, philosophical, and unapologetically weird. A sequel can't just be generic action. Fans expect visual spectacle, yes, but they also expect the same mix of science, philosophy, and cosmic mystery. If it becomes just another shoot 'em up, it risks losing what made Lucy stand out. So, is Lucy 2 really happening? As of right now, nothing official has been greenlit. But the Variety report about the spin-off series shows that studios believe in the brand. Combine that with the constant demand from fans, and it's clear the door isn't shut. Hollywood loves profitable franchises, and Lucy made almost $500 million. Numbers like that don't get ignored forever. Here's where things get really interesting. Fan energy is keeping Lucy alive. Search YouTube right now and you'll find dozens of fan-made Lucy 2 trailers, edits, and theory videos. Some of them rack up millions of views. Studios notice that kind of engagement. When a fan base refuses to let go, studios often circle back to find ways of reviving the story. That's how other seemingly one-and-done films have eventually become franchises. So here's the reality. Lucy 2 exists in a gray area, not confirmed, not canceled, somewhere between rumor and development. But one thing is certain, audiences are still hungry for it. And that hunger matters. Because in Hollywood, enough fan demand can turn speculation into a green light. The real question is, what would you want Lucy 2 to be? Do you want Scarlett Johansson to return in full force? Or should the story expand to explore the ripple effects of her evolution? Should it be more philosophical and cosmic, or lean harder into sci-fi action? That debate is exactly why Lucy remains so fascinating nearly a decade later.